Hey everybody, we're back with another TV show review. This was kind of excuse me, impromptu because I don't know. I've been sitting on this for a couple of years now, and I figured we'll have the spare time before I wrap things up with my Spider-Man comic book spoiler reviews. Uh, I want to just cram in Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney anime. At least check out season 1. So, um, yeah, this is like beat for beat for the Phoenix Wright gang that I played uh, 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 a year and a half ago, which by the way you can check out on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/talkative Carl. And I you know yeah, it's pretty much like beat for beat from like the games. However, I do like the animation style. It's like they perfectly captured like the games in animated format perfectly. This came out in 2016, but oh man, like I just hearing the voices, because you don't get like voice over in the games, but hearing them really adds something. And like the animation style when they do like objection or hold it, and it's like, and he does like the finger points, and it's like air pushback. It's like it was like all that really adds to the effect, and I really enjoy that. um so yeah, if you play the games you already know what's going on, but we got Phoenix Wright, brand new attorney to the game, working under Maya Fey. Is it Maya or yeah, no, Mia Fey. Mia Fey, who's like, you know, hey, I knew she was hot, but like, man, she was like stunningly hot in the animated format. And uh, Phoenix childhood friend Larry Butts under uh, investigation, or at least suspicion of the murder of his girlfriend. Please don't tell me this. So it's like dropping frame rates again. But we'll push on. And uh, I don't care for Larry Butts in this. He seems like a way too goofy of a character. But I guess it's the whole point of the games. But of course, it was this neighborhood thief under the guise of like a newspaper salesman or something of the sort he was doing. And he was planning on breaking in. She came home from Paris early, and found him snooping through her stuff. He grabbed the nearest thing, this statue of the thinker that turns out to be a clock, clunked her, and uh and decided to pin it on Larry, who happened to be, just walking away a few minutes before he decided to break in. And Phoenix ends up using the evidence that he needs to prove that this is the guy who, knew about the thinker and it being a clock, because he actually went inside. And of course, like all this, stuff in the courtroom and everything like that, mostly, wouldn't really play realistically in an actual courtroom. Also, Um, the judge. I think the judge is probably like the worst because he, not that the judge doesn't have to, of course, judges probably chime in more often than not. Well, not more often than not. They chime in when they need to express something because the judge is like the pinnacle of that courtroom. Wherever he or she says goes, they have the final say. However, when this judge just like blurts out stuff that's kind of nonsensical sometimes, any wonder he's even like a judge. And they get the judge almost every time, and it's like it'd be kind of cool that you get to see like an entirely different judge, every once in a while. But it's like, oh my god, what is that? You mean to tell me he did this? Like, you're right. My shirt would be, considered like, new in this context. That makes sense. It's like you don't need to chime in with your 2 cents that isn't pertaining to anything. It's just almost like nonsensical sometimes. That's just me. But thanks to Faye's encouraging, because she's like the Obi-Wan Kenobi, the wise mentor that ultimately dies in the next episode because this is like a long arc, about the DL6 incident thing that's going to be coming up pretty soon, that's intrinsically tied to not only Miles Edgeworth, the Vegeta Seto Kaiba type of rival to Phoenix Wright. They're also connected to Mia Faye's family and Miles' father kind of situation, but we'll get to that. Faye ends up getting killed by this this slick idiot guy, this slimy dude. What's his name? Red White. And of course he did it. Oh, by the way, I love the music in this. Like, they perfectly captured the music from the game into this anime. But Edgeworth is like, does anything to get a conviction. And of course you get like Detective Gumshoe, and I like his voice actor. It's like, don't worry everybody. Like, don't worry everybody, it's the Caps. I was like, yeah, he just had to be a cop. Like, this is the Caps. Like, they about to do something in here. So now Mia's, I keep confusing the two. Mia's little sister Maya is convicted because she's supposed to had came over because Mia called her over to help hide some evidence for her, and she can't trust anybody else with it. It's like, why don't you put it into like some evidence locker, or give it to Detective Gumshoe or somebody more official that they can be secure kind of situation. It made no sense to me. You give it to your little sister, essentially putting her potentially in danger. But she's accused, and it's up to Phoenix to prove her innocence. And the Faye family comes from like a spirit medium kind of heritage where they commune with the dead. And it's more often than not, you see some supernatural goings on. And there's one moment towards the end of the season where I gotta bring this up now because I end up gonna forget. This little girl named Pearl was part of the family, and it's like when they have the spirit of the dead take over their body, they kind of change form to give them the appearance of the person just in the medium's clothes. And this little girl ended up channeling Mia at one point, and it's like a grown woman in this little girl's outfit and very busty, and it's kind of like maybe a little uncomfortable because like technically still a little girl, you just inhabiting her body. It's just, I don't know, it's supposed to be anime and you got allow some room for goofy stuff like that, but that's just like, wow, that's pushing it, because like it's 2016, but it wasn't cool that you're just like, I don't know who was behind the game and the anime, and more often than not the manga itself, where how pervy and weird are you? And you just kind of like could just had the little girl just channel the voice of Mia rather than taking up her appearance, because now it's like guys can't help but like take notice, and it's kind of like make people uncomfortable. I'm just saying. Anyway, so Phoenix ended up busting that guy through a series of objections, and like thanks to the channeling of Maya, learning from me about like thinking outside the box more often than not, because playing the game is a little difficult, because like sometimes you don't know what you're looking for exactly. It gets a little difficult. It's like, okay, what's different from this picture? And it's like you're looking for 5 minutes straight. If you watch my walkthrough of the Phoenix Wright games, I'm sitting there have to look up on video another video on like how to like maneuver and what I need to look for, because I get stuck more often than not. It's like I don't know what I'm looking for, what I'm supposed to be looking at, and it might be obvious to some, but me, it's like it's not that glaringly obvious, or if it is, I'm second guessing myself, because it's like you only get like a few point meters before the judge gets completely fed up with you. So it's like I try not to like waste that. So he ended up busting that guy. Then you get the whole DL6 situation where Miles gets accused of killing a guy who was part of his father's like court case years ago when he was like a young kid. And of course, Leroy and Larry and Phoenix were in grade school together, so they were childhood friends. And it was thanks to Miles and Larry, who helped him out as a little kid, which it's like probably a pretty cool flashback here, because we all been there. I mean, there's a lot of kids. I've definitely been there plenty of times as a kid, where people are accusing you, and shame on this teacher. People are accusing Phoenix for, stealing, because he was suspected of stealing Miles Edgeworth's lunch money, and everybody's dogpiling on Phoenix. He's crying hysterically, and the teacher is like, "Just apologize, Phoenix." And of course, Larry steps up for Phoenix. That's why he helped him out in the first episode. And Miles even steps up and screams, "Objection!" Because his father's a defense attorney, so he's just like, he knows a lot about law. He kind of soaked it all in. Do we have any evidence that he actually took anything? So you don't need to apologize anything, Phoenix. At this point, it's all circumstantial. If he says he didn't do it, you don't have any evidence proving that he actually did. So this case is completely a circus. So, and it's like, it was an awesome display from Miles Edgeworth stepping in, even though he's the one that's been robbed from, and everybody's pointing the finger at Phoenix. It's like, you wish you had something like that, because little kids can be cruel. You wish you had something like that, and I definitely wish I had something like that. Oh yeah, I had like a few moments, but it's not all the time, where you're a little kid and getting ganged up on, or even when you're a little older than that, you feel like getting ganged up on, and you feel like you had nobody in your corner, and somebody just steps up for you like that, and just like and he was using the law against them, because it's like, yeah, if you have any evidence proving that actually did that, then it's essentially he said, she said. So that means nothing. Y'all can just pile on top of him all you want, but if you don't have any evidence, then screw off. And I love that. That's probably one of my favorite scenes in the entire anime altogether. But now Phoenix, thanks to that course of action, really set him on the path of being a lawyer, because he wants to defend those who had nobody in their corner like that. I thought it was really cool. Great origin story. So Phoenix decided to defend Miles' case, because people saying like, oh, he clearly did it because he does everything, to try to get a conviction, and his prints was on the gun. And even though they had like a photo, thanks to this country bumpkin trying to nab a photo of this, kind of like preacher, that's supposed to be like the Loch Ness monster type of kind of, mythological thing in the lake. But it turns out to be like a piece of trash because of Larry and his like goofball balloon. Long story. It was around like, close to Christmas. So, she has this kind of automatic camera that's supposed to go off when there's like a loud noise pop off. And upon the photo where you barely see who the other person that that's on like the boat, but clearly it was Miles. But Miles instinctively just picked up the gun. He didn't fire it. But the photos show that the shooter used his left hand, but Miles is right-handed. So clearly there's a contradiction. So it's a complete frame job. And they had this old man as a possible witness who's, thinking he's senile. Turns out he's faking it, and he's like a part of this big conspiracy to frame Miles. And he was a former guard of the courtroom back during the whole, Miles's father's, courtroom case. There was like a power outage. Miles, bailiff, that was it. The bailiff, and wasn't the bailiff wasn't in there. It was like the opposing the prosecutor. No, it was the bailiff. I forget who was in the elevator, but it was only Miles, his father, and I'm pretty sure it was the bailiff. But anyway, there's only 3 of them in this elevator. The power outage, it was like a blackout that went across Japan, and so they were stuck in this elevator. The third guy is getting all frantic and everything like that, while Miles and his father was keeping it cool this whole time. The guy freaking out. There was a tussle going on. A gunshot went off. But Miles' dad ended up dying. Everybody thinking Miles could possibly have accidentally shot his father, but no one could actually prove that. But it turns out the person who's prosecuting Miles is his actual mentor. Miles's own mentor, uh, what's his name? Von Karma, who's just one wicked SOB. And then he, supposedly had never taken a day off, even though it's like, maybe it's America, but I'm pretty sure it's gotta be something akin to that across the world when it comes to a job where there has to be some kind of vacation time. Like, for any individual working a job, you have to take some kind of vacation time. You can't just constantly come in. There has to be like some, days off. But he never took a day off except one time, and was after this incident with Miles's father. But it turns out, thanks to the country girl's little metal detector that it wasn't her metal detector, it was like something that Gumshoe had. He let Maya borrow it. Phoenix used it to detect the possible, because like there's supposed to be like a second bullet that was never recovered. Why? Because it's still lodged in the the murderer's body, because there's two gunshots, one that hit the Miles's father, and the other that hit Von Karma. He turns out to be the guy, because he was gonna because was the bailiff inside the elevator. He was the opposing prosecution, and he was about to lose, so he had like a perfect record. He couldn't possibly let that perfect record go blemished, so he takes out Miles's father, and then just on some real evil stuff decides to take on Miles as like an apprentice. And the bailiff's life is completely ruined because his wife ended up unaliving herself because of the scrutiny that went on around that time. The Faye family, its lives were ruined for a time because the police went to their mom for counsel to probably speak to the victim, to see who was the one that killed him, but she said the name of the bailiff, and so that's where I believe. But other evidence kind of proved to the contrary, whatever like that. It was not sufficient, so a bunch of lives was ruined throughout this whole mess, and they could speak to why Mia went and studied law herself. So for Karma is in jail now, and the whole DL6 situation is finally concluded after all these years. So Miles decided to take a break to kind of like collect himself, collect his thoughts, and find out what it truly means to be like a lawyer, or at least a prosecutor, why he went to learn the law. Now, of course, Phoenix starts progressing with going through some cases, and the new opposing prosecutor is Von Karma's daughter, who, you talking about Dommy Mommy, man. Oh my goodness. And it's just like just like straight up dominatrix kind of lawyer. Like, oh my God. Heck of fine. You get this Steel Samurai superhero TV show incident where one of the actors died, and of course, Maya's a huge fan of that, so of course she dragged Phoenix to try to prove the person who's like the main protagonist, the hero, innocent who he suspects, who is suspected of murdering his supposed castmate, who's supposed to be like the enemy of the character he's playing. And of course, you got like this woman who's, I don't know, she's like kind of like running like a gang or something, but she's, you know, running kind of the studio, but she has kind of like some kind of gang ties because she has like some mafia goons or something like that. Look like they're about to rough up Phoenix and Maya at one point. But Gumshoe comes in a nick of time and it's like, excuse me, there's something wrong here. And it's like, yeah, you know, yeah, try something. Yeah, try something, give me a reason to lock all of you all up. And I'm like, it's probably the most badass moment of Gumshoe throughout the entire this entire season. So of course they managed to get that guy proved innocent because thanks to this little boy named Cody, who's, you know, always sneaking into the studio to snap pictures and everything like that, happened to snap the picture of an incident of what happened. Um, and it turns out Vasquez was the one who uh, committed a crime. Although I remember in the game there was supposed to be another character. I think they kind of cut out in this some short guy, the director. Yeah, it was a movie director. I distinctly remember in the game that they didn't bring in this episode. It's a two-parter episode. I thought that was very weird. It's like ain't they missing somebody? It just dawned on me just now. I was like, wait a minute, because I couldn't put my finger on it. It felt like somebody was missing throughout the story part. That was him. Of course, and then you got the story with Mimi Faye, who is the sister of, or I would say like the aunt of Maya and Mia, and the mother of Pearl. Excuse me. Turns out she was conspiring with this nurse who had an axe to grind with this doctor who she suspects was the cause of the death of her sister. And she even took up on the parents of her sister in order to trick them to go to the residence of the Fays in order to use a spirit medium to convene with the ghost of the person that died. I guess he was going to operate on because it was a car accident kind of situation. And his reputation is pretty much like, you know, under investigation because of the situation. Like he bossed the job in some fashion. And Mimi is always wanted to be the one running the spirit medium compound, but it went towards her sister. And of course, she was just kind of grew jealous. And once all that, you know, came to light, man, it's like I felt so bad for Maya and Mia, because like, wow, you were willing to, you know, sell your niece down the river in order to be the one leading this facility. That is just wild, because since the mom had two heirs, the oldest daughter who decided to go into law, it just immediately falls the responsibility fell to Maya automatically, especially since Mia passed away. So now she's taking up the responsibility. And of course, this is like, hidden jealousy. That was wild to me. And I just felt so bad. The look on Mia's face, just utter disgust and disappointment that your own family would just like do something that heinous to take over like that. It is wild to me. Then of course, this is the biggest one here. The farewell turnabout, where Maya gets kidnapped by this infamous hitman who kind of looks like, Alfred, in Batman Returns. And tries to force Phoenix's hand in order to secure her safety, in order to make sure that his client, this actor, is acquitted. But now as Phoenix is kind of had to choose between his friend and serving the law, and it's like, and then it's like, everybody's getting involved in this, like, Miles, who makes a return, and Gumshoe, and it's like he had to step in because this dude is serious, because he's like an assassin. He actually used a sniper rifle and shot Devon Karma girl. She's alive. We got like hit in the arm, but he just needed her out the picture. So now it's like, oh my god, things really getting serious. And thanks to Maya leaving a trail with like a blank CD, because it turns out the guy Phoenix is defending turns out to be a complete evil guy. It's kind of like a nice twist, because like defense attorneys usually do have to defend people who probably did probably do the deed kind of situation. And of course, if they know, because like, if the person being completely honest with them, and if the lawyer isn't a complete like evil person that just like willingly tries to get off a actual real threat to the community, then the lawyer's job that's supposed to be defending his client is to get the best possible conviction, best possible ruling for his client. Doesn't always mean that they will get off, but just like if they say like, oh, if they was honest, like, oh, hey, I did this, but blah 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 blah, then I watched a lot of Legal Eagle. So what he brings up in a lot of his videos is like, try to get the best possible result for his client. As long as like the client tells them everything, then there'll be no surprises in court, and they can give them the best possible defense. So this guy Phoenix defending his complete slimeball, and he ended up recording the hitman who he hired to assassinate his castmate, because this whole thing with his manager having like a relationship with said guy and everything like that. It was like a whole messy situation. It's almost something like you see on the some kind of Lifetime excuse me, some kind of Lifetime movie, or like those kind of crime drama or something like that. So he secretly recorded the hit just in case the hitman tries to double cross him or frame him or whatever like that. he has something on him, but the killer has some kind of code of honor that he will not uh turn over anything that would be against his client, incriminating against his client. But because he actually is speaking through this speaker box in the courtroom as like a hidden witness kind of situation. I don't even know if that kind of stuff will be allowed in court realistically, but who knows? It's depending on how severity of the situation is. Then it finds out thanks to Maya, who is rescued, well, not rescued, but he turned loose thanks to like Gumshoe and Von Karma, and the combination of Phoenix Wright just teaming up against these two like evil SOBs. And it's like finding out that he was being recorded and like he was being betrayed. He has no allegiance to this guy no more. So he turns Mia free. And so now he has a non-guilty verdict, not guilty verdict, but he screams, wait! It's like, send him to prison. Please send him to prison. I do not, because like he knows what he did. And now this hitman is going to be coming after him. Because like, well, I got your not guilty verdict. So after this point, my hands are tied. So that's like, you're free to go. And this was like the Miles and like, feels like, well, you're free to go. I did my job. So now you're gonna have to take your chances with that hitman outside of this courtroom. And it's like you could probably still he probably can still get to you even if you're locked up. You're not 100% protected. But he got is guilty and he is sent to prison. It's the only time at least so far I've seen Phoenix get a guilty verdict on his side. But he doesn't care as long as Maya's safe. So that's wraps up like season 1. I mean, like I said, it's pretty much shot for shot, nearly shot for shot of the video games, but it's just you just get still enthralled rather than you having to do most of the bulk of the work yourself. You're just watching it play out in anime style. And I love the animation with like the finger pointing because how epic it is. You gotta see that blast. I love the addition of the air blasting individual when you do that. Obviously it's played to effect, but it's very, very good. And when like the witness's true colors, or like the witness's true colors is revealed of who's really guilty, and they starts flipping out, that classic Phoenix Wright type of stuff. I love that play out here, and you get to see the full courtroom and not just like a static thing in the games. You get to see the full spectrum of the courtroom, and like there's TV monitors hidden in like the walls so you can actually see like the evidence presented and everything like that. Love all of that. That is really good. I just don't care for like the judge for the most part, where like I said, him chiming in on certain things he doesn't need to be chiming in on got grating at times. But I love the characters involved in this. It's a very, very good anime. But I don't know when or if I will cover season 2. Maybe if I'm like doesn't have too much other stuff to review, I might return to it and check out season 2. Because I am considering like definitely revisiting Duel Masters and checking out season 2 of that and coming back to that. Don't know when, but I am like, toying with that. But I still got to get back to wrapping up Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D so I can get to Zexal eventually. But then also season 2 of Food Wars, I want to get back into that eventually. But then again, I got a lot of X-Men TV show that I gotta cover pretty soon, so it's gonna be a while before I get back into those other animes that I mentioned. But yeah, I'll see you guys in a few minutes for the coverage of a comic book, Miles Morales origin story. But yeah, I will see you guys in a little bit. Peace. Oh, and by the way, I'm getting close to my goal for the Hot Ones Challenge video. Once I hit 400 subscribers, which I'm fairly close, so if you mind sharing this with your friends, try to get some more subscribers. Let's try to get this video to 100 likes, so we can try to meet that goal. I'll answer any questions via YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, while I try out the different hot sauces on camera. And also, I'm currently working on RE4 remake on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/talkativecarl. Follow me on all the other links in the descriptions, like my Patreon, patreon.com/talkativecarl, where you can check out the very affordable tier list where you can pick certain things you want me to review on. Anyway, I will see you guys later. Peace.